And pick up a wicket here, try and break this this partnership before it starts to get dangerous.
Richardson again, sprinting in, arms pumping to bowl to Denley, who's hitting the ball into the leg side. Nicely struck from the England and Kent batsman. He'll get one out to deep mid-wicket. 9 runs needed from 10 deliveries for the Bash boost point. 68 for 3 is the score. He's played a couple of test matches, Jai Richardson, ODIs and T20s. He's the leading wicket taker in this competition, still just 24 years old, and it's not an easy fast bowling unit to break into, Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins.
No, he's probably around in the wrong era.
Just a bit. Richardson is in. It's a good ball on the pads of the batsman. He can't do much other than shovel it round the corner for 1. And there may be a second. Actually, there's a little bit of a mix-up, and there should never have been a second run there. The throw came in. It's really poor. I don't know who that is. Way out in the distance at fine leg, but a fumble has allowed them through for 2, and it should never have been that way. 70 for 3.
Yeah, a bit sleepy down there, forward Ahmed, just fumbling what was pretty routine piece of fielding. But yeah, good on Lewis Gregory for spotting it and being on it straight away and putting him under pressure. He's not the greatest fielder, forward Ahmed. He hasn't got the strongest throwing arm and on him in this Perth Scorchers lineup, so they'll be aware of that to keep pushing him down there. But yeah, for Jai Richardson, I know he's, amongst Justin Lang, he's very, very highly thought about as a fast bowler.
Charging in again, 2 on his back, short ball into the leg side by Gregory, but there's protection with AJ Ty inside the circle at mid-wicket. No run.
It's almost how people like Jamie Cox and players like Stuart Laws and people like that felt in Australia's great era, when you had obviously Damien Martin, Langer, Hayden, Ponting, the Wars, great players in their own right, but obviously just couldn't break in what was a very, very strong lineup unless it was an injury.
Gregory on 9. It's Richardson into him. It's in the air, into the offside. Can a fielder get underneath it? No, it's going to drop short of the man at deep cover. And as the throw comes in, they'll turn for the second. Eking towards that Bash boost point. 1 ball left of the 9th over. It was a little uncontrolled from Gregory. Sort of lost his shape, fell over a touch, but he gets 2.
Yeah, and good bowling for Richardson. Just threw it a little bit wider. Saw Gregory advancing. Gregory just sort of spooning it over backward point.
Gregory on 11. Final ball of the 9th over. Very short cries of catch from the keeper. Any interest from the umpire? No. There was full-on celebration from Inglis. He was clapping his hands,
typical
cheering.
Keepers, isn't he? Eh? Typical keepers. Always appealing.
You're having none of it. 9 overs gone, 72 for 3. 5 needed from 6 for the Bash boost point. The target for victory, 103 from 66 balls at 9.36 runs per over. I do enjoy listening to either batsmen or bowlers. It is relentlessly whatever you didn't do, it's their game. It's bowler's game, batsman's game, keeper's game. Typical keepers.
Yeah, keepers are just a different breed on their own, innit? They're grubby, generally grubby, quite gobby sort of people, aren't they?
It's a huge statement, that, Carbs.
Well, I've witnessed a few keepers.
You think you've got
enough
enough of a sample size?
I've got enough of a sample size.
AJ Ty in to Denley, full outside the off stump and missed. And through to the keeper. 9.1 overs gone.
Apologies to any smartly dressed keepers out there.
Well, yeah, I always think there's always the exception to the rule. Alex Stewart, he's
it's pristine, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was the Rolls Royce of keepers, wasn't he?
Where you're saying the rest of them are perhaps the sort of mini Metro.
More puntos.
Denley, 17 from 20. Defending, but he finds a gap down the ground for 1. 72.
Yeah, I'll say Matt Pryor was quite an elegant keeper as well.
Okay.
He's very, very smartly dressed, collars up, always looked the part, I would say.
So give me an example of what you mean, and an example.
Well, I'll say in my early career I had probably the best of the best with Jack Russell.
Okay.
So needless to say, you got guys using gloves that were like 25 years old and full of sticky tape and plaster, and
that was just when he started.
And that's when he started. Yeah. A hat that looked like it seen better days. you know, but they're just a different breed, aren't they? They're just a different set of people.
But
they
then you
see the
sort
world.
of you need to be that, because if you think about the level of concentration that goes into being a test keeper, I guess Gregory on 11, it's tie into him. No run there, into the leg side it goes, and well fielded. You know, because it is a fairly relentless job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got to be on it pretty much every ball, isn't it? I suppose, and you know, you need to what you're sort of the team G up man. You're the set of eyes. You're the one who's got to see all the angles in the field and where people are drifting off or out of position. You've got to be the captain's sort of right hand man. You know how the bowlers are hitting your gloves. And all those kind of things. It's a very important job in the team.
Tie into Gregory, chases a wide ball, will get one out to deep cover, and suddenly the equation for the Bash boost point,
it's getting close.
It's got a little bit tighter.
Squeaky bum time, as we say. Isn't it?
3 runs from 2 balls now. Denley with shirt untucked, waits, looks around and thinks, where might that option be? And we have seen in this tournament sides that have gambled trying to chase it, lost a big wicket and gone on to lose the game. And so this new addition to the tournament has created games within games, and at times has caused teams real problems when they've failed to assess the situation and manage the risks. As Denley on strike goes inside out into the offside, he's going to pick up at least a couple, because there's a fumble in the deep from Jai Richardson wearing the gold and black hat to signify the leading wicket taker in the tournament. A deep backward point.
I think they could do a bit better with that cap.
You're not a fan of the cap? One run off, 1 ball for the Bash boost.
I like the golden cap idea. I just think the design could be a little bit more, let's say, golden. It's more black with a yellow peak, really, isn't it? It looks like something you get at JD Sports, and you wouldn't think anything of it. It doesn't. I don't think that makes Jai feel more special. You know, I would like to see a, you know,
flashing lights.
Not necessarily flashing light, just a little bit more golden on it.
Okay.
I'd say.
Like,
you know what I mean?
If this was the IPL, it would be golden, wouldn't it?
Of course. Yeah,
it would be absolutely.
Literally golden.
Yeah. They'd never be able to run anywhere. Way
exactly.
So much.
Do way so much. Yeah.
Denley on 20, hammers down the ground, cries run immediately, and by getting through, has he got through? Well, has Lewis Gregory managed to run himself out by not sliding the bat in, thinking that Denley is running to the danger end, not paying attention, and perhaps
I think this could be close.
Sacrificing his wicket. The Bash boost point is up in the air at the moment. They needed 1 from 1 to get it. Final ball of the 10th over, and the Scorchers fielders initially were excited because the throw hit. Then they lost a bit of interest. Lewis Gregory.
That would have been a death.
Well,
he's miles in.
Why were they excited? He was home.
Keepers again, I told you, they love appealing, don't they? They love appealing.
Lewis Gregory was home by 5 yards, maybe?
That's what I say. Keepers, they're very quirky. They see the world differently. Me and you were seeing he's 5 metres past the crease.
Yeah, and it was an extraordinary appeal. 98 needed from 60 deliveries. Carbs, you're happy to stay on?
I'm indeed, always.
Perfect. And Atif Nawaz is going to join us. I'm going to try and think of what would be a better hat for the leading wicket. I think something to combine the Moose Trophy that England and Sri Lanka are playing for with a top hat that you've then got a field in.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Yeah.
What we want. 77 for 3. Atif's going to join us.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Henry's going to come up with, being a man of sartorial splendour. As Atif joins me in the hot seat, what do you reckon he's going to come up with? This could literally be anything. Do you reckon, Atif, with his hat recommendations?
Henry's a very inventive man. You know, he can come up with, and he's been exposed to some incredible sartorial influences over the years.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dan Norcross comes to mind. You know, he's an explosion of sartorial. I can't even think of the superlative for Dan's wardrobe.
Talking of explosive, one thing I don't miss is Dan Norcross' explosive sandwiches. He's like, oh mate, that was explosive.
Really? What was in it?
Was it guinea fowl, leftover chicken? There was something else in it, but it was the what was that sauce he put on it? And literally, mate, we were.
And he didn't open it here, did he? Didn't open it?
Yeah.
Oh,
just up there.
That's poor form. Yeah. You know, if you got smelly food, you just don't eat it in a tightly confined space.
For 3 hours, me and poor Henry literally had no eyebrows left, and that's with the window open.
Well, we do have fun here. The Big Bash has been great fun providing coverage of this for BBC 5 Live Sports Extra and BBC Sport, the website. Brisbane Heat here, they've missed out on that Bash Boost point. In fact, sorry, I beg your pardon, they've secured the Bash Boost point and now even on points with the Scorchers. So the result of this game even more crucial now for that 5th place battle. 77 for 3 after 10 overs, 98 required off 60 deliveries. Denley on strike. In comes Aaron Hardy. Starts with a full delivery. It's been worked to short mid-wicket for no run. So all to play for. 98 off 59. Required run rate just under 10. It's not going to be easy.
That rate is slowly being pushed up. Be important over here for Hardy. He didn't start very well. Lynn really took him to task. He's got to bowl well here. Keep it tight for the Scorchers.
In comes Hardy now, again back of a length, this time driven off the thick outside edge to the backward point fielder, and they run through for a quick single. There's a little bit of hesitation there, but they made it in the end. This English partnership. Joe Denley on 22 off 25 and Lewis Gregory 12 off 11. And slight calm before the storm you sense at the moment as that required rate increases. Remember, the power surge is still to come. Those 2 crucial overs earlier, we saw the X Factor sub used to very effective fashion by the Brisbane Heat. A wicket off your second ball as an X Factor sub.
It's gold dust, isn't it?
That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want.
How's the fantasy points going?
It's pretty well for me as in comes Aaron Hardy as the next ball again strikes the batsman on the pad and no run is scored. Yeah, I've got a few Scorchers players in my in this
Man
round
of fine taste.
Well, you see, in this round of the Fantasy League, the Super Coach League, which is in conjunction with the Big Bash League, the Perth Scorchers were playing 2 games. So you get 2 cracks at the cherry if you play multiple of their players. And I've still got Glenn Maxwell as my captain. I've been with him through the whole series. Can't go wrong with Maxi. Yeah. In comes Aaron Hardy. This time Gregory comes down the track. He smashes this high and long and just clear of the fielder who was tracking back to long on. It's gone over the rope. It's 6 runs. And Gregory trying to release the shackles a little bit. That's his first 6. 84 for 3 off 10.4 overs. Yeah,
and I don't think he got all of it, by the way. He sort of looked at his bat, maybe got it up and around the sort of toe end, but he got enough of it. His bats are so good now. You half connect it, and it's not a small boundary straight either. And he's managed to just sort of dump it just over the rope for 6.
Yeah, he's
playing nicely, Lewis Gregory.
In comes Hardy once again, following the batsman. That's a tighter line for him, and it's just worked the keeper for no run. He's been very effective every time he's tried to follow the batsman into the crease and cramp them for room. You wonder why he doesn't do that all the time. He's gone for 27. It's actually a good recovery over. His first over went for 20, and he's only gone for 7 off his first 5 deliveries here as Aaron Hardy. So a little test here for him of his character. 84 for 3 after 10.5 overs. Lewis Gregory on strike. He's got 18 off 14. In comes Aaron Hardy. Forward, smashed high up in the air. It doesn't have the legs on it. Is there a fielder out there? There is, but he can't quite get to the ball. There's a sliding stop. Gregory gets back for 2. His heart will have been in his mouth. As the score moves on to 86 for 3 after 11 overs, the Brisbane Heat. They're still in this chase, 89 off 54 required. Can you imagine if they're going to get anywhere close to that, they need at least one of these batsmen present at the 19th, 20th over mark.
Yeah, he's just teasing them nicely, Lewis Gregory. Just flipping that one just short of the fielder. Weren't able to converge on it. But Hardy would be pleased with that. As you say, he got out of the over relatively unscathed. Still quite expensive, but be interesting to see who Scorchers turn to now. Will they keep going with him or try someone else? Maybe get some more spin, pace off to these 2. But yeah, you do feel, certainly from the Brisbane Heat's point of view, someone like Denley's got to try and see this through now. He's taken 25 balls. He's on 22. Gregory supported him nicely with a couple of lofty blows. But it'll be wanting Denley to see this through, definitely, for sure.
It is Denley who's on strike. He's got 22 of 25 deliveries so far. Berendorf is back into the attack for his 3rd over. Figures of 1 for 11 for him so far. He comes in and he bowls. It's been worked into the onside for a dot ball. Well, good pressure this. Cameron Bancroft there at short mid-wicket. Making sure there's no easy singles there for Denley. He's going to have to play a little bit more inventively or take a risk really to get some runs here.
Yeah, very similar position the Scorchers found themselves in, where it's just that zen moment in the innings.
In comes Behrendorff once again, full and following the batsman, kind of going between the batsman and the stumps there as it goes to the keeper for no run. Excellent piece of bowling again, keeping things very tight, Behrendorff.
Would you say it's a difficult wicket, or just the bowlers have just found a better length at times, and the batters have just, it just seems like they've struggled for, once the initial power play, they've struggled to really get going?
I think it's difficult to be continuously aggressive, as this time Behrendorff loses his line. It goes down the leg side, the wicketkeeper dives for it, but I suspect that's going to get to the boundary. It is. That should be 5 wides. That's poor from Behrendorff, who's been so accurate today. You don't often see 5 wides from him. He's a bit disappointed with himself as well. And yeah, as you say, Carbs, I think it's one of those pitches where you definitely get value for sticking around. And as we saw from Colin Munro earlier, he was going at a runner ball for his first 30-40 runs, and then he managed to accelerate after spending that time at the wicket. And you got to remember, there's so many variations in pace and length and bounce. It's exceptionally difficult to be consistent. As in comes Behrendorff again, this time short of a length. It's been cracked through the covers as the sweeper will collect. And the batsman will take a single. 92 for 3 now off 11.3 overs.
It's actually good to see, because I say this to these young players now, that the game isn't just about bashing 4s and 6s. The actual skills of batsmanship still apply even in 2020 cricket, where you get on a wicket that's not flat, and you do need to take your time and catch up at the back end. Proper batting, I guess.
Behrendorff in once again, and this time again angling down the leg side. This time it takes the pad of Gregory. Is running away very, very fine to that fine leg boundary. The keeper is in pursuit because the fine leg was really square, and in the end the ball crosses the boundary rope. So 4 more runs to the Brisbane Heat. They're starting to build a little bit of momentum here. 79 required off 50 deliveries, and with 7 wickets in hand, you'd fancy them to at least take this close. Remember, a lot on the line. The winning team here will leapfrog into the second position, or second or third, depending on which team goes through in run rates in the Big Bash League. So Behrendorff, in he comes again, this time a little bit straight. He's bowled him. He gets through Gregory, followed him again with that similar line onto leg stump. It flicks off the pad onto the stumps, and Behrendorff has his man. Redemption is his. The Brisbane Heat 96 for 4, and after a promising start, Gregory has been dismissed.
Wow, that came out of nowhere. I think this was Behrendorff's initial plan, to try and come around the wicket and tuck Gregory up for room. But he bowling these sort of cutters. He looked like a sort of off spinner, fast off spinner, that sort of gripped a little bit and bowled Gregory off the pads, having got the 2 previous deliveries wrong. But that's a big blow for the Heat, I feel. Gregory was looking threatening on this pitch. He seemed to be the one batter who's really seemed to find, other than Lynn, that seemed to really find his timing. So again, yeah, it's another narrative into the mix.
Absolutely, as you say, Carbs, it was that change of pace again. He was through a shot before the ball got to him, and it just shows that with all of these variations, all this inventive bowling and batting happening, the T20 game is so rich. And we think about batsmen often being inventive and playing unusual scoop shots and paddle shots and going deep in their crease or going wide of their crease, or doing all these unusual, unconventional things. Bowlers very much have that option to them as well. And
yeah, bowlers have had to adapt. It's unfortunately, yeah.
Well, Jack Wildermuth is a new batsman. His first ball, he just gets right behind it in defence. Dot ball, and that's the end of a good over from Behrendorff in the end. After missing his line a little bit, he came back strongly to get that wicket of Lewis Gregory. And now the Brisbane Heat in a little bit of bother. 96 for 4 after 12 overs. They still need 79 of 48 deliveries to win this game. That's a run rate of just under 10 and over. It's not going to be easy. Both teams fighting hard here at the Marvel Stadium.
I remember talking to one of the very best that I played against was someone like an Alfonso Thomas, who's again former Scorcher, in his own right, and he used to, practice. Used to watch him practicing when we were playing against Somerset. He'd put baseball mitts on various parts of the crease and try and hit those areas, hit his Yorkers. He was bowling almost these, what we call, known in club cricket as the long hop.
Oh, yeah.
The donkey drop long hop. But he found that, taking all the pace off was very hard for batsmen to strike the ball.
In comes Fawad Ahmed now, back into the attack. He strikes the batsman on the pad. Again, the ball is running very, very fine, directly behind the keeper, and they'll run through for 2 leg byes. There was an appeal. In fact, they've been giving us runs, and well, that's why the appeal was turned down, I suppose. 2 more for Denley. He moves on to 25. And yes, absolutely, it's a tricky game with all those. I mean, I imagine one of the best drills you can have, Carbs, is like maybe taking a bowling machine and putting on shuffle mode, so you don't know what's going to happen next.
Don't know what's happened.
The next ball's flicked into the leg side by Denley for a single. And
it was always 0% swing, because you get the older bowling machine balls now that would, even if you had them on outswing, they will go in swing.
Yeah.
And that's the one you get wrapped on the inside thigh.
Gosh, yeah, no, I've taken a few blows from bowling machines over the years, enough to not want to do that again. 99 for 4 after 12.2 overs. And Jack Wildermuth, the new batsman, he's on strike for a second delivery. He's got Fawad Ahmed coming at him. Ahmed's done well so far, 1 for 22 for him off his 2.2 overs. Scorchers will be looking for another wicket, another loopy delivery.
And again, no slip. Where's the slip?
Wildermuth can't get it away. Another
4
dot
for
ball.
90. Why are you not going for a slip at this stage? New batter in, put him under. 5 for 90. Different game.
Slightly conservative, perhaps you could say, the Perth Scorchers, and lots more air given again by Fawad Ahmed. This time the ball takes an under edge and goes through. They run through for a quick single. There is a good throw at the keeper's end, and the keeper does take the bells off. They're going to take another look at it, but to the naked eye, it looked like he was comfortably home. And Wildermuth should be off the mark here. We'll take another look at this. It was an excellent piece of fielding at Cameron Bancroft at cover, but the batsman was comfortably home.
Excellent, thank you. Ready to
as you say, Carbs, keepers now. And they're appealing, huh?
Not according to Josh Inglis, he was miles out. He's playing the second crease.
He was nearly beside him by the time he took the stumps off. So, yeah, we'll have confirmation that is indeed not out. Wildermuth is indeed off the mark, and the Brisbane Heat have brought up their 100 off 12.4 overs. Fawad Ahmed in, and he bowled him! Well, Denley has gone. Fawad Ahmed has the breakthrough. He's bowled him. Denley looking for a big swing over mid-wicket, misses the ball entirely, and he's been dismissed for 26 after doing all the hard work. He invested 31 balls at the crease, just timed his shot all wrong, and the Brisbane Heat lose their 5th wicket now, 100 for 5 after 12.5 overs.
Oh, the pressure getting to Joe Denley there, you felt. It's not what Darren Lehmann and Chris Lynn would have wanted at this stage, and we would definitely wanted Joe Denley to be the man to see it home, having spent 31 balls at the crease for 26. That's a timely wicket, and it really puts Brisbane Heat under a lot of pressure now to see this over the line, you feel. But great bowling from Ahmed. He's kept pushing, get the words out, he's kept plugging away, should I say, and it looked like a bit of a quicker ball flipper into the surface, which sadly went under the bat of Joe Denley. So
he set him up for that, didn't he? Because he tossed up a few deliveries and then just sent through the quicker one, and Denley just didn't see it coming. Again, we talk about those variations being everything in T20
Don't get
cricket.
lined up, as they say.
Jimmy Pearson, the wicketkeeper, is the new batsman for the Brisbane Heat. He joins Jack Wildermuth, 2 fresh batsmen at the crease. Well, Perth Scorchers will be loving this.
Ideal scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, this is where I want to see Ash Turner get on the front foot, get a slip in, really squeeze these 2 batters.
No slip as yet, as Fawad Ahmed again in, gives the ball plenty of air as Pearson drives down the ground to long on for a single, so he's off the mark. And that is the end of the 13th over, a successful one for the Perth Scorchers. And for Fawad Ahmed, he's got 2 for 24 from his 3 overs. The Brisbane Heat 101 for 5 after 13. They need 74 off 42 to win this game, and it looks difficult from here. Not a lot of batting to come. Got Mark Stakiti, Morne Mokul, and then Matthew Kuhneman to close things out. If it's going to happen, it's got to have to be these 2, isn't it, Cubs?
Yeah, and this is what I say. In that situation there, I know it's a 1 run, but call one of your fielders up. Is Pearson going to run down the wicket at this stage and try and bop one over the top? Probably not. You know, that's potentially a dot ball. You can keep the pressure on. You've got to force these guys into making the mistake. I do feel that there have been a little bit waiting for things to happen. The Scorchers a little bit, a little bit fearful of what they think might happen. I think you just got to be brave in this situation. Try and look to bowl them out.
Oh, there's a lot on the line here for both teams. As Liam Livingstone is back into the attack, and he starts with a back of a length delivery. He's been flicked off the hips of Pearson into the leg side for a single. Yes, Liam Livingstone, slightly underwhelming with the bat today. He started so well and just played a soft shot to get out. It has to be said, it was a soft dismissal. Looking to
nice
redeem
time to bowl now, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to sneak a few slow overs in.
Absolutely.
Livingstone in once again, back of a length. There's an outside edge and he's been taken. Wildermuth has been dismissed. Liam Livingstone has taken a wicket. It's a great time to bowl right now if you're a Perth Scorcher. You can't stop taking wickets. 102 for 6 after 13.2 overs. The Brisbane Heat are in boiling water here right now.
They are. This is almost, you would say, start the car time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a great shot there from Wildermuth, just falling off the shot a little bit and feathering one through to Inglis, the keeper, and the joy and Livingstone. It's nice when those go to plan. It's a nice time to bowl when you're just trying to get through some overs, and it's looking this target's looking further and further away from the Heat.
Yes, Wildermuth will be disappointed there. He's dismissed for 1. Had a good effort with the ball, took 2 wickets for the Brisbane Heat, but really needed to fire with the bat here to give them any chance. Now, with 73 required of 40 and just the 4 wickets in hand, it looks like a tough ask for the Brisbane Heat. But we've seen stranger things happen. Stay tuned. The Big Bash is nothing if not unpredictable. And Liam Livingstone, 1 for 6 from his 1.2. He'll be absolutely thrilled, and again, making his captain look like an absolute genius for introducing him at that time. 3 wickets in 3 overs for the Perth Scorchers have really broken the back of this Brisbane Heat innings. James Bazley is the new batsman, and the ball's been lofted up in the air and just falls short of the diving fielder at long off. Nearly 2 and 2 for Livingstone, but in the end the batsman come back for 2. Bazley's off the mark with that 2 and 104 for 6 now. Gosh, it looks like they're going to take a wicket with every delivery at the moment, the Perth Scorchers.
What's going on? It was great fielding from Berendorf. He really put his gnashes on the line there, you would say.
He's probably got a very expensive dentist. As in comes Livingstone. This time the ball's been worked into the leg side, and they'll take a single. They think about the second and then think better of it. Just the 1 run to the score, so 105 for 6 now after 13.4 overs. Pearson with 2 off 2, Bazley with 3 off 2.
And what this has allowed now is, you've almost allowed yourself to keep an extra over for Richardson, and I think Berendorf has still got 2 of your better bowlers.
Livingstone in with another ball that skidded onto the batsman. It's just been pushed to the man sweeping in the covers for a single.
Andrew Ty, you've managed to keep some of you, some important overs under these guys' belts. Should one of these 2 start to get away, you can bring them back on. This is absolute gold dust for the Scorchers.
There's many options available to the Scorchers captain, as in comes Livingstone again, this time beating the outside edge through to the keeper. And, they're really struggling right now. The Brisbane Heat, Bazley on 3 from 3, Pearson on 3 from 3. And the Brisbane Heat 106 for 6 after 14 overs. They still need 69 of 36 deliveries to win this game. Remember, both teams even on points as it stands, but a victory will take either team up the table, away from those non-qualifying spots and into the guaranteed playoffs positions with just 1 round of games to play. It's the business end of the Big Bash League. It's been a very exciting, extraordinary tournament. Very competitive. All the teams have been in the mix, with the exception, you would say, of the Melbourne Renegades. And of course the Sydney teams right at the top of the league pretty much all the way through. Right, Jai Richardson, he's still got 2 overs in hand, and he's been extraordinary today. 2 overs, none for 4. And he's going to come in and have a go at these guys. He'll fancy a couple of wickets here for himself as well, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Well, the Marvel studio is ringing out the tunes. There's a small crowd that's gathered there looking for some kind of consolation after the demoralising loss this morning to India by 3 wickets. As in comes Richardson. He's got Pearson on strike. He bowls and Pearson drives. He gets a hand to that, just ricochets it to mid-off, and they run through for a single, 107 for 6. Yes, indeed, a little bit earlier today, India wrapped up a series win in quite spectacular fashion against Australia. They won the series 2-1 with a victory by 3 wickets at the Gabba, the first defeat at the Gabba for Australia since 1988. And well, it's been quite extraordinary, really reflecting on that. A lot of people calling it the greatest Test series win of all time. And,
certainly be right up there, wouldn't it?
It's definitely top 5, I would say, for me. But here at the Marvel Stadium, the Perth Scorchers are on top as in comes Richardson. This time the ball's been worked into the covers for a quick single by Bazley. So dealing in singles at the moment. The Brisbane Heat, it's not going to be enough from here. They're on 108 for 6. They're chasing a further 67 off 34 deliveries. That power surge is still to come. So there is that. And we've seen the power surge often work in the favour of the bowling team in this tournament, but if ever there was a time to reverse that trend for the Brisbane Heat, this is it.
Yeah, that rate's slowly nudging up to 12 and over. It's not getting easier.
Richardson in once again, driven nicely by Pearson, beats the gap in the covers, beats the sweeper out on the covers as well, and that's a valuable boundary from Pearson, the first for quite a long time, and very rare for Richardson to concede one as well. 112 for 6.
Very good batting from Pearson. He got himself across the off stump, almost following Richardson and smoking that through the offside. I think the problem with the surge in terms of Brisbane Heat is they're running out of batsmen. Might not be there to see it.
Absolutely. Well, in comes Jai Richardson once again. Full strikes the batsman on the pad. There's a big appeal for LBW. The finger goes up. Richardson has the wicket. Pearson is gone for 8. The Brisbane Heat are continuing to just capitulate here as the Perth Scorchers are burning through the heat. 112 for 7 after 14.4 overs.
Yes, very adjacent, I would say. Straight on the foot, in front of all 3. Well bowled Jai Richardson. And credit for pitching the ball up, being brave, bowling that very, very good Yorker. And you feel that's pretty much it for the Heat. They just really haven't got going today, which be a shame for them. They probably came into this game probably on the better side of form, you would say, of the 2 teams, having won a couple of games straight versus the Scorchers, who lost their previous game. But they've been a bit disappointing tonight, I think.
Yes, Brisbane will be disappointed with that effort thus far. They were on top for passages of the game. Like, even when the Perth Scorchers were batting, there were passages where the Brisbane Heat were very much in control of the game, and they just let that go a little bit. And they'll rue those moments where they allowed Colin Munro to get away and score that magnificent 83.
Yeah, and with the bat, they just haven't been ruthless enough. For me, if you look at that card, they've all got starts. Obviously Lynn got a start, Denny got a start, Gregory got a start.
Richardson in once again, another full fast Yorker, and the ball's been chipped up to the point fielder off the bounce. It was a bump there. It was a sort of a half appeal from the fielder at point, but it was a bump ball, and no run taken by Stakiti, the new batsman. 112 for 7. Yeah,
they've all tended to get in and get out at the wrong time, versus the Scorchers, who, like I said, they had Munro, who got a brilliant 80 or 50, and now the guys were able to bat around him and play those sort of little cameo roles.
Jai Richardson in once again. It's short and it's been pulled up in the air. It's caught at extra cover, and that is the 21st wicket of this Big Bash League for Jai Richardson. That cap couldn't possibly get any more golden, as he's doing an absolute number on this Brisbane Heat team. It was a quick, short delivery, and the catch was spooned up to extra cover. One of the easiest catches he'll ever take. Stakiti, almost as quickly as he came in, has been dismissed. The Brisbane Heat are all but cooked here as Munro takes the catch at extra cover. And 112 for 8, the Brisbane Heat. 63 off 30 required. It looks like it's going to be a very, very tough ask. If it happens, Michael Carberry, it'll be absolutely spectacular. I'll be watching from the back of the box with a keen eye on my Fantasy League players. I'm going to make way for Henry Moran as he brings you the climax of this game. Just humorous, Carbs. How could the Brisbane Heat do it from here?
Well, it could be a quick phone call to someone like Rishabh Pant to see if he fancies a knock, if he's still got his pads on, to come and have a knock. It's the happiest I've seen Atif all morning. That's how many fantasy points will that be? He's picked well. And yeah, you do feel this is the last rites really for the Brisbane Heat. They've not been very good with the bat today. They've really let the Scorchers get back into this game.
Basley on strike, chipped in the air, should be a catch, is a catch. Hardy now takes the catch at mid-off, and another wicket falls. I sense that my commentary stint may not last an over here. A ninth wicket has fallen, 63 needed from 29 still. They did get the Bash boost point.
They did.
So, you know, there is something out of this game for the Brisbane Heat, but it isn't going to be the full maximum points because a catch has been taken at mid-off, only just by Hardy, it has to be said. He juggled it a little bit and eventually managed to hang on. And another wicket falls, so 112 for 9. This has been quite the collapse, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It kind of feels like a bit of one of those consolation goals at the end of a 6-1 drubbing of an FA Cup tie. A bit of a... Yeah, it's just not been a very good performance from the Brisbane Heat batsmen. As I said, people have got in and they just haven't been ruthless enough to take it through to the end and really close the game out. And I think it's been really the pattern of the whole game, really the whole performance with the ball. It was the same. Morne Morkel was outstanding with the ball, but you know, he didn't really. They had periods where they were dominating, but didn't really drive it home. They let Monroe get away, they let Turner get away, and that's really turned out to hurt them.
Morkel on strike then, the human sight screen waiting for AJ Ty as very full delivery is dug out and it's running into the offside. There is no run. They've slipped from 96 for 3 to 112 for 9.
Jeez, that's a big collapse, that. Yeah,
that is a spectacular tumble, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't afford that at this level. Yeah, so you've got to be ruthless. You get teams in a position, you get in as a batter, you've got to as best you can, you've got to try and see your team home over the line.
AJ Ty bowling to Morkel, chases a wide delivery and it goes through to the keeper. If you're Morne Morkel here, you've taken over 500 wickets for South Africa, years of test cricket, first class cricket. You might just be thinking, do you know what, this isn't for me, is it? I'm getting peppered with short deliveries in a losing cause in a match we're never going to win. You know?
Come back next week.
Yeah, a little bit. But he's out there and he's waiting.
He likes his batting though, doesn't he?
Does he?
Yeah,
oh, it goes through the legs of backward point. He's going to get a run. Probably 2 actually if he turns quickly enough. And will do. He'll get a couple of runs, I'm sure. He does, back for the second. 114 for 9. Is he a number 11 that enjoys?
I think he does. Yeah, I don't know him very well, but reports are that he. But you find that most guys who I don't like to use it. We can't use tailenders nowadays. It's not politically correct. You got to say lower order. You find most guys actually do like having a knock when they can. It's always nice to give it back after you've been.
Yeah, I can see that.
Dished out a few sixes, isn't it?
Driven into the offside on the full, no run. There's a fielder in the cover collect.
It's like batters. We always like a bowl. Yeah, I was one of those batters who, you know, when the skipper would give me a nod and say, "Oh, do you fancy coming on for a few towards the end of a game that's meandering to a draw?" I used to love nothing better.
Yeah, I think anything in any pursuit that. You know, that you if you're doing the other thing, you can imagine that you could do a better job.
Yeah,
I think that's always the way, isn't it? Morkel on strike, short ball defended, and there's no run. 114 for 9, 16 overs gone. This game is all but done, barring something remarkable.
20 very unlucky men in professional cricket that succumbed to the wrath of Carberry's bowling.
Well, arguably, I would say it is actually just thousands of very fortunate men who have never had defensive work. Is the other way of looking at it.
I used to tell them, just don't play for the spin. Just don't play for the spin.
Straight breaks. 37 runs have been scored in the last 6 overs. 6 wickets have fallen. It has been quite a collapse. The target for victory is 175, so 61 needed in 24 balls, but they've only got
test victims in there as well, I might add. Just there'll be some guys, if they're listening, hiding behind under the bed.
Kuhnemann outside edge, going to run to short third man, and there is no run. I'm going to look now and see. So
accomplished wickets in there, I might add.
Right arm off break. You didn't get a bowl in Test cricket. You did in ODI cricket.
I did indeed, yeah.
Ahmed to bowl to Kuhnemann into the leg side for 1, out to deep mid-wicket, 115 for 9. No wickets in the 1 over that you bowled. In the 1 over that you bowled.
Sadly under-bowled.
Under-bowled, yes. It was the economy rate of 12 from that 1 over was a disappointment.
In my defence, I was brought on when I can't remember who was bowling it. Someone from Ireland had 100. His name might be Sterling or someone that had 100. And come and have a bowl. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, Ahmed
Malahide
into bowl to Morkel. It's defended, and then a little keepy up from Morning Morkel to prevent the ball rolling onto the stumps. Okay. So there is extenuating circumstances in those figures, but
let's talk about the one that just turned and took Jonathan Trott's glove to
now we're talking. Big hike in the air from Morning Morkel. Has he got enough? No, he doesn't. Wicket is taken. Hardy with the catch. Morkel goes for 2. The game comes to an end. 115 all out at the Brisbane Heat, and a victory for the Perth Scorchers by 59 runs. We're going to have to wait just a little bit longer to hear all about that delivery, Michael.
I'll save that one up.
We
my next stint.
We will, no doubt, hear every single detail. But it is a win for the Perth Scorchers in this game. They've won 6 now out of their last 7. They're on a roll, only beaten by the exceptional Sydney Sixers side, who have already qualified for the playoff stages. The Brisbane Heat, meanwhile, well, for them, there's work to do. Let me talk you through how this table looks now, because every game sees a huge leap in how things move. If you get a win and you're part of that middle pack, it completely shifts things. So the Perth Scorchers up to 2nd now. They move on to 24 points to 3 for victory in this game. They didn't get the 4 because that went to the Brisbane Heat, who now join or stay in the same position, but they join a little bit closer, if you like, with that cluster of teams on 23 points. They're now on 21 points and remain in 6th position. So the Scorchers up to 2nd, and everyone having played 11 matches now, they're in pole position to make it through to join the Sydney Sixers in the playoff stages, which unless we've got several days to discuss exactly how they work, I suggest it's easier to look at the flow chart than it is for me to try and explain it. Suffice to say, 5 teams qualify for the playoffs, and it's easier the higher up the table you go to get through and win it. Let's leave it at that for the time being. I will go through it again as we go through the tournament, but victory for the Perth Scorchers in this game. What have you made of the performance? You know the side well, you know the franchise well, and this looks like a team that's got a bit of rhythm.
Yeah, they from a sticky start early in the tournament, I think from where they were, they've obviously pulled it back really, really well. They look like they're a lot more together unit out there. It's nice to see the likes of Jason Roy and Livingston getting into the tournament. Monroe, I thought, was magnificent today in the way that he composed his innings. He didn't panic up front. He lost the 2, we say, early-ish wickets. I think Josh Inglis played a nice hand as well. He's been playing well through the tournament as well. They got up to what we thought initially was a competitive score, nothing more than that on this pitch. And were never really in any danger with the ball. Chris Lynn showed some fireworks early doors, but you felt once he got out, fairly cheaply, you would say. Joe Denley threatened but struggled, stuttered and found it difficult to time the ball as the innings went on, and then after that it was just a possession, it was a fabulous win. I think they will take a lot of confidence from this win. I mean, winning always helps, especially at this stage now where every point is like gold dust, and it's now, who would have thought, you're seeing Scorchers 2nd in the table. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the tournament? So I think from where they were, it's been an unbelievable effort.
And what of the Heat, who've got Darren Lehmann skulking around the outfield looking like a long-lost Mitchell brother, and he looks, frustrated. He will be frustrated because no Majib in the side. He's gone off for international duty. Yes, they've got Morning Morkel, but now they've lost against 2 of the other sides that'll be heading through to the playoffs. You would have thought. Is there now going to just be a little bit of doubt about how things are going?
I think Darren Lehmann will be disappointed from the fact. I don't necessarily think it's a personnel problem. I think he'll be disappointed with the way that they had opportunities to win this game, the Brisbane Heat. Let's say with the ball, I think Morning Morkel was fantastic. I think their death bowling, Lewis Gregory didn't quite get it right, let him off the hook a little bit. Certainly with the bat, I think he'll be very, very disappointed. Likes of Lynn, I think the senior player in the team, having got off to such a great start, you want him to kick on. Denley, again, got in, used up 30 balls for 26. Again, you can't do that at this level. If you're going to do that, you've got to see it over the line. And it's just, and after that, it was just cheap wickets. People got in, got out at the wrong time, allowed the Scorchers to really get all over them. There wasn't that hustle between the wickets. It was almost block or get out. And I think that's what Lehmann would be most disappointed about. And I imagine in their team huddle tonight, when they review the game or some point tomorrow, that's what the areas they'll be looking to improve on for the next game.
Carbs, thank you. As always, it's been a joy being alongside you, former Perth Scorchers BBL winner Michael Carberry, and England Test star as well. Lovely to have Carbs alongside us. Let me just quickly go through how this match played out. Well, the Perth Scorchers asked to bat first. Colin Munro top scoring with 82 from 54. 174 for 5 was their total. A couple of wickets for Morney Morkel and Jack Wildermuth in there. Brisbane Heat's run chase, well, it had a reasonable start. Chris Lynn made 27 from 16. Joe Denley 26 from 31. But it all tumbled away horribly. They fell from 96 for 3 to eventually 115 all out. Lewis Gregory, the first of those wickets to go, he made 20, and after that all single figure scores. With the wickets, a couple more for Jai Richardson, who now has 21 in the tournament. Also Jason Berendorf with 2, 3 for Fawad Ahmed, and a couple for AJ Ty. Liam Livingstone in there got 1 too. 1 wicket for 10 runs for Liam Livingstone. In terms of Roy and Livingstone, I should say for the Scorchers, 4 for Jason Roy, 17 for Liam Livingstone. So a victory for the Scorchers, and they move up to second in the table. There was I have to apologise for that extraordinary noise we just heard down our effects microphone. That was because of a replay in very slow-mo with someone shouting that sounded like there might have been Godzilla walking onto the microphone. It was just a replay coming down our effects feed. But victory for the Scorchers in this game, and they do move to second in the table. If you want all the details of what has happened in the competition and how things are all shaping up, head to the BBC Sport website and app. And I should say you want to head there to read about the Australia versus India match, which has been extraordinary. I don't know about you, but over the last 4 or 5 weeks, when those matches have been on, I've barely slept. I've been up all night checking the score, checking what's been happening, and what a conclusion to it. India winning it, and right at the death, 10 balls left, getting over the line to ensure they take the Border Gavaskar trophy back to India. And it is one of the most remarkable tales, with Australia beaten at the Gabba for the first time in 28 years, as well as all the detail on the BBC Sport website. 28 years, 33 years I should say. All the details on the BBC Sport website. There'll also be a special podcast from TMS with the reaction from the Gabba later on today. Just check that out on BBC Sounds. Later on this week, more Test cricket. 4:15 Friday morning is Sri Lanka against England, and then tomorrow more Big Bash cricket for you. The Melbourne Derby, the Renegades against the Melbourne Stars. Big game for the Stars. The Renegades pretty much out of it. The Stars, they need their big guns to fire to keep their playoff hopes alive. Thanks so much for your company. Thanks to Michael Carberry, Atif Nawaz. I'm Henry Moran. It's been a joy to be with you this morning. A lot of fun, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again soon.
BBC Sounds.
Listen live, catch up on things you've missed, find podcasts, and explore to discover new things you might like. What planet are we on?
30 to 50% of the energy used in buildings is wasted. Low-hanging fruit, we should be able to stop this very quickly.
Your coronavirus questions answered. England's Chief Medical Officer, Professor Chris Whitty, comments and answers questions on the current COVID situation.
We are going into what are going to be the worst weeks of this epidemic for England and the wider UK.
And catch up or listen live to Naga Munchetti's new 5 Live show. It's all on BBC Sounds. Listen live, pause, rewind and discover. Download the BBC Sounds app.
Serena and her elder sister Venus Williams are making the Walk of Champions.
Every single one of these Grand Slam wins means so much.
Plus ATP Tour finals and Davis Cup.
What an extraordinary spectacle. This does not feel like it can be happening.
Well, what a time, the longest and the most intense rally of the match.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings.
More live sport, pure live sport.
You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra.
More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra.
As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including football, with live coverage from the Premier League.
Harry Kane inside the penalty area. Harry Kane finds the back of the net.
Lukaku shoots. Lukaku scores.
FA Cup and EFL Cup.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Plus, live action from the Women's Super League, Champions League and international fixtures.
With the free kick, she goes low into the far corner. And the header is there. Brilliant run at the back post. And Nikita Paris gives England the perfect start to the second half.
Visit bbc.co.uk